Welcome back. The Bank of Agriculture, in collaboration with the Kano state government, is flagging off the 2018 farming season in the country by supporting farmers. Well, the occasion was also a forum to strengthen access to agricultural finance and create a platform to diversify the country's economy away from oil. One of the major challenges confronting peasant farmers in Nigeria is the lack of funds. Unavailability of modern-day farming implements and expertise may be considered as a secondary challenge, but also very important. And that perhaps explains why the Bank of Agriculture is launching a nationwide intervention program to help farmers thrive and also make agriculture regain its pride of place in the country through the Anchor Borough Initiative. The bank, in collaboration with the Kano state government, gathered farmers to flag off the 2018 annual farming season. For the managing director of the Bank of Agriculture, the initiative is part of the institution's transformation action plan.
Why we are flagging off the 2018 farming season is to actually create a platform where we can be on the same level with the farmers, be able to understand their challenges so that we can propose solutions.
Mr. Mohammed again emphasizes the bank's commitment to continually reach out to the farmers financially.
We are everywhere. We have over 140 branches. So you cannot have any financial institution in Nigeria that is closer to the farmers than the Bank of Agriculture.
The state government is hopeful that Kano State will continue to thrive in the area of agriculture.
It has never been so good for Kano State as the last 3 years. So we thank God this government is working. Kano State is moving forward and is being carried to higher heights.
Checks are given to beneficiaries who could not hold back their gratitude.
We thank them because this money will help us to boost the agriculture in the nation, and will help us to be self-reliant, and will help us to be very productive in farm produce.
Aside the loans, other interventions such as farming inputs are made available for Farmers Association to boost production, and the Bank of Agriculture is asking residents to come into agriculture and avail themselves of these developmental packages in order to take agriculture to a higher level. And staying with agriculture, First Bank PLC has held the second edition of its Agri Expo. Innovating for a sustainable green economy is the theme for the 2018 event, which had in attendance the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Mr. Audu Ogre, and the Minister for Trade and Investments, Dr. Okechukwu Enelama. The MD, CEO, First Bank of Nigeria PLC, Adesola Adeduson, says the expo is a demonstration of the bank's continued commitment to funding agri-business value chains, a role it has played for over 100 years.
Agriculture is often described as the cultivation of land and breeding of animals and plants to provide food and fiber to sustain and enhance life. Pushing the frontiers of this important sector is why this group of people are gathered here. It's the second edition of First Bank's Agri Expo holding in Lagos.
Over the past 124 years, our bank commenced operation with a major strategic focus on financing agricultural development, as well as enabling farmers and agro-business. I'm pleased to note that agricultural financing across the entire value chains remains a core part of our business today.
With the challenge of wrong seeds for planting and lack of soil testing in the country, which has often led to many farmers turning bank loans to bad debts, the federal government insists changes are here.
We do a lot of soil testing now. We're investing in seeds, improved seeds. Our research institutes are doing a great deal of work. We're investing more in extension services to teach the farmer how to farm.
For the keynote speaker, having a sustainable green economy means embracing research and development, as well as a long-term technology plan.
To articulate for Nigeria a plan over the next 15, 20 years perhaps, which puts front and center the importance of technology, the nature of the technology that we require, and the impact that we expect.
With several exhibitors displaying the latest in farm equipment and well-packaged finished foods. One of those here says the agri sector is getting the needed exposure.
With the government's mission of diversifying the economy into non-oil exports, and this kind of First Bank Expo is one of the milestones where people are getting aware of what is happening in the agri sector.
As the event comes to a close, First Bank PLC believes the agriculture sector is the viable alternative to crude oil in generating the much-needed foreign exchange for the Nigerian economy.
Well, let's take you to some business stories where Anne Nwaldo has been standing by.
You first. First Bank.
Thanks a lot, Millicent, and welcome to Business News. We begin with the World Bank saying that it has approved $2.1 billion loan to help support Nigeria's investment in 7 projects, including nutrition, electricity, fiscal transparency, polio eradication, and other things. The project, which is approved by the International Development Association, that's the low-interest arm of the World Bank, are expected to support Nigeria's economic growth plan. More than half of the loan will be used to fund power and climate change projects. In the meantime, the World Bank says it's extending its partnership with Nigeria until the 30th of June 2019. The United Kingdom is also advancing its relationship with Nigeria to improve bilateral trade, investment and business. These objectives form the focal point of discussion between the Lord Mayor of London, Mr. Charles Bowman, and the Nigerian business community. Channel's Business News correspondent Tempela Shaju reports.
Proportionate regulatory framework.
Mr. Charles Bowman is the 690th Lord Mayor of London with the sole ambassadorial responsibility of promoting the UK's financial and professional services sector. This meeting with the Nigerian business community brings to bear the UK's plan for Nigeria in areas of infrastructure, access to capital and financial inclusion using Naira-denominated financial instruments.
I strongly believe that the UK and Nigeria can work closer together in the years ahead, whether that's working through and on infrastructure projects or accessing finance through our capital markets and UK export finance, or using fintech to promote financial inclusions, or working further to improve regulation, professional standards and trust.
While the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Okechukwu Enelama, calls on captains of industries to key into the offer, the private sector players appear receptive.
And there, we've encouraged the private sector to work with us. We've encouraged the diplomatic community. The UK government, directly and indirectly, has been extremely supported through some of the support they render through DFID and other sources, as well as in other ways. And we proudly, or we frankly welcome this effort or this partnership because we think it's for the greater good.
Bring in people together, connect, and once you connect, we will find out whether it makes sense or not. And the right place to do so, like what I said, is here, because you are not talking about government to government.
The UK delegates proceeded to the Nigerian Stock Exchange, where the Lord Mayor commended the collaboration between the NSE and the London Stock Exchange. Tempela Shaju, Channels Television News.
And talking about the Nigeria Stock Exchange, sell-offs continue to dominate the equities market for the 3rd consecutive session this week, with the banking index as the only loser among 5 major sectors. Let's hear more from Chimezie Obiwagu.
Thank you for joining us on Stock Market Report. Trading sentiment in the Nigerian equities market has remained low as the bearish trend continued this Thursday. The all-share index dropped further, this time by 0.61%. The negative sentiment was mostly felt by the banking stocks, particularly GT Bank and Zenith Bank, making that sector the highest loser. The industrial sector gained the most, thanks to Lafarge Wapco. Even the 5 naira loss by Dangote Cement could not pull back that sector. Market breadth remains negative. 16 stocks posted gains, while 20 posted declines, with Honeywell Flour leading the gainers in terms of percentage, while Equity Assurance led the losers. In 3,554 deals, transactions churned out about 414 million shares, valued at 4.45 billion naira. It's 24 hours to the final trading day in June, and traders and analysts are only hopeful that this negative sentiment in the market will reverse in the new month. And that was the stock market report. I'm Chimezie Obi Iwago.
Thanks a lot, Chimezie. As for major world stock markets, they have ended today's session with mixed performance, as well as Wall Street rebounded from yesterday's loss, while European equities fell amid renewed concerns of global trade. Let's take a look at the figures for today. And that's business news for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Anne Nwawadu. It's back to you, Millicent.
You first. First Bank.
Many thanks, Anne. Well, we take you to Anambra State, where commercial motorcycle operators are protesting as they attempt to stop the final shutdown of their operations in some major towns of the state from the 1st of July. The affected operators are appealing to the state government to reverse its position to prevent them from losing their means of livelihood. The State Commissioner for Road, Rail and Water Transportation, Mr. Uche Okafo, says the government's decision is to ensure security of lives and property.
Despondent rather than angry, these men are members of the commercial motorcycle operators in Anambra State. They are unhappy with the directive of the state government to ban motorcycles in major cities of the state with effect from July the 1st, 2018. Although they carry placards bearing several inscriptions, their action is more a plea than anger. They say they risk unemployment and poverty if their means of livelihood is blocked without a commensurate alternative.
Our governor is someone who listens. We plead with him to consider our plight. We are not here for confrontation, but rather with a plea for him to help us.
The motorcycles operators are not alone in this appeal to the state government. The State Motorcycle Spare Parts Association also joins in the call.
Changing business is difficult. For one to change business, before you finish all the goods in the warehouse, you know what it takes, the bank money and other things. Then the Okada who have in his hand people to pay, feed and other things. So we want government to reconsider.
The state government insists the reason for the ban is to check the rate of crime, which is aided by the use of motorcycles.
This decision was not just taken to victimize anybody, both the riders and the importers. This decision was taken in the overall interest of Anambrarians. You can attest to that the crime rate is now getting high. And there's no how the state government will fold their arms and give excuses.
While it's sticking to its guns on the matter, The state government advises interested parties to take advantage of the state government's loan scheme through the Anambra State Small Business Agency to purchase shuttle buses.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Africa's last standing representative at the ongoing World Cup in Russia, Senegal, crashes out after losing 1-0 to Colombia. That's in sports news. Please stay with us.